He was just a boy. Nero castrated him, married him, and crowned him empress. This is the haunting story of Sporus, Rome's most tragic ornament. After the death of his beloved wife, Poppaea Sabina, whom he may have killed in a fit of rage, Emperor Nero descended into grief. But what looked like mourning soon turned into madness. He found a young slave boy named Sporus. Delicate features, gentle manner, and to Nero's broken mind, a living echo of Poppaea. But Nero didn't grieve with flowers or tears. He grieved with control. He ordered Sporus to be castrated, his childhood stolen, his body mutilated. Not to punish him, but to remake him. To mold him into a replacement bride. And in one of the most surreal ceremonies in Roman history, Nero married the boy. Sporus stood in a bridal veil, dressed in the finery of an empress. Rome's nobility looked on, unsure whether to laugh, tremble, or obey. Nero called him lady, paraded him through the streets, and whispered the name Poppaea behind closed doors. To the people, it was grotesque theater. But to Nero, it was law. What he wanted, he made real. Sporus was now an empress in all but name. He accompanied Nero in public, sat beside him at festivals, and was paraded before the people. He had no voice, no choice, only a crown and a role to play. Even Rome, a city with its own moral fluidity, found the marriage grotesque. Satirists and senators whispered. Commoners laughed. But no one dared challenge Nero. To displease the emperor meant death. When Nero died in 68 AD, his empire fell into chaos. But for Sporus, the boy empress, there was no freedom in Nero's fall. He was passed from ruler to ruler, not as a person, but as a symbol. A living echo of the empire's madness. Emperor Otho, who admired Nero, took Sporus into his household. Some say he loved him, others say he used him to mirror Nero's memory, to anchor his claim to power. But it didn't last. When Vitellius seized the throne, he had a different plan. He ordered Sporus to be brought out before the Roman crowds in a grotesque spectacle, a public parody of Nero's wedding ceremony. Sporus, dressed once again as a bride, would be humiliated for entertainment. But Sporus had been robbed enough. Of his childhood, of his voice, of his identity. And so, before the show could begin, Sporus chose silence over shame. He took his own life. The boy who had been crowned Empress of Rome, who had survived emperors and spectacle, chose death rather than one more mockery. His story didn't end in glory. It ended in quiet resistance. A final act of defiance in a world that never saw him as human. Sporus wasn't just a footnote, he was a mirror. His life showed how power can twist love, identity, and dignity. He had no voice in his fate. His body, his name, even his soul, reshaped to serve an emperor's fantasy. Today, we remember him not as Nero's empress, but as a boy the world refused to let be himself. Subscribe to Forgotten Realms, where we uncover the voices that history tried to silence.